News and Talk, WAOK, the voice of the community. It is currently Sunday morning, the 19th of October at 9:25 in the morning, and we have an exclusive interview that we're coming to you live for. You just heard that previous interview, and right now we are transitional into the current governor campaign. Now, I got a special person on the line, and before we introduce this brother on the line, I want to properly introduce him. So first, it is going to be State Representative Derrick Jackson, who is currently running for the Georgia governor in 2026. Can we have a warm welcome for none other than Mr. Jackson? Great morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Chris. Man, this is a pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So a lot of us are familiar with you. We see you in the community all the time, but for those who this may be their first time hearing you live on air, could you just give us a brief background of who you are? Then we can dive into the campaign.
Absolutely. Listen, again, thank you for having me, Chris. I always start off with my formal title. I'm a husband and a father. My wife and I, we have a beautiful blend of 7 young adults, 4 daughters, and 3 sons. But then I parlay that to my professional career. Over the last 42 years of leadership experience and service, 22 years in the military, retired lieutenant commander, 10 years in the corporate sector, working for companies like General Electric, and then the last 10 years in the Georgia General Assembly as a legislator. So that's 42 years of leadership experience and service.
Absolutely. And that kind of leads me to my first question. So, given the fact that you've been, and thank you for what you've been doing and serving for the people of the United States, with that, where did you wanting to run for governor come in? What sparked the interest in that?
It's been quite some time, and if I may quote the late, great civil rights icon, John Lewis. John Lewis said, when you see something that's not right, not fair, and unjust, we have a moral obligation to do something, Chris. And so I clearly see at this moment, at this time, I have a moral obligation to run for governor. I'm the only candidate for governor that is uniquely qualified to fulfill the 2 roles of the governor. That is the chief executive officer and the commander in chief. Because I'm seeing things right now at the federal government level that's just not right, not fair, unjust. And yesterday is a clear example on that No King's March across the United States, that citizens need a ethical and a leader that will lead with integrity, with responsibility, compassion, experience. And so that's the reason why I'm running to become the 84th governor right here in Georgia.
Absolutely, and yeah, that protest was something to see for sure. Families are dealing with some real struggles, of course, wages that don't cut it, healthcare that's hard to get, and schools that need some love. What's your plan to make life better for regular Georgians trying to make ends meet?
My focus will be on Georgia families every day. That's the heart. I humbly believe that is our state's in terms of prosperity and our direction and where we're going. And I truly believe when you think about wages and healthcare and education, those will be 3 pillars, but you can go to voteDerrickJackson.org and see the remaining 5. There are 8 pillars that I will focus on to ensure that every Georgia family can thrive, not just survive.
And that leads me to my next question, which is obviously you're big on protecting people's rights, whether it's making sure everyone's votes counts or just keeping citizens safe or even helping small businesses thrive. So my question would be, what's one story from your time in District 68 that shows why this particular fight matters to you?
When I think about the work I have done in District 68 the last 10 years, Chris, is not one particular thing. Our society is very dynamic. Our families are very diverse. And so when you think about as governor, I would bring in that expertise and that leadership When you think about our constitutional rights, when you think about our state rights, like voting rights and civil liberties and small businesses and others, the last 10 years, I've been on the front line under that gold dome, fighting for women's rights, fighting for LGBTQ rights, because I truly believe that the very fabric of our society, as diverse as it may be, we need to maintain it. We have to have something, as the previous generation passed on to us, we have to turn around and have something to pass on to the future generation. And so it's not one particular thing that I have done. It's a multitude of things that I've accomplished just in the last 10 years as a legislator.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And another thing that you advocate for is also, protecting the military community. And it's such a big deal. And from active duty folks to veterans, how are you planning to support them as well when it comes to deployments and leadership and et cetera?
As you stated earlier, Chris, I served 22 years in the United States Navy. I'm a retired lieutenant commander. And that experience is invaluable. It taught me how to lead with diverse teams under pressure and make tough decisions with a clear moral compass. I will leverage those 22 years and lead with integrity, honesty, compassion, and humility. Chris, I made 7 deployments, 4 combat missions, 2 special operations, and 1 humanitarian deployment. And what I've learned through all 7 of those deployments, Chris, that you need a leader with vision. You need a leader that understands the mission and then help encourage and empower, in this case, the officers and sailors to do their job and then get out of the way as their leader. Allow for them to have the autonomy. And so to answer your question directly, I will make sure that as the commander-in-chief, the only candidate in this race, you got 7 Democrats and 4 Republicans. I'm the only candidate of the 11 that is fully qualified to be the commander-in-chief, because that role, Chris, we often overlook, and it's often in the shadow. But we clearly see right now that the federal government is overreaching, misusing, and abusing, in my humble opinion, the brave men and women who are in uniform. They shouldn't be detached from their state and deployed to another state to pick up trash, and for the taxpayers to be spending $1.2 million a day. That's a misuse of those brave men and women who are in uniform. I will be that commander-in-chief, the only one that's qualified that's in this race. Again, for Democrats and Republicans, to make sure that we maintain our military values and a vision and properly use our National Guard accordingly when we need to have them available for the state of Georgia.
Wow. Mr. Jackson, we appreciate you for not only taking the time to speak with us this morning, but also just laying out your plans so clearly. We want to know, what is the best ways that people can support you, whether it may be by donating or even if they want to volunteer their time to be able to get on these streets with you. What are the best ways to do that?
Yes, Chris, again, thank you for having me on the Sunday morning program. The 3 things I always ask of everyone. The first one is prayer. We all are reminded on this Sunday morning that the prayers of the righteous avail us much. And so I solicit your prayers for endurance and strength. Number 2, you can go to voteDerrickJackson.org. That's vote, DERRICK, Jackson.org. And you will see that all 8 of the pillars that I just shared. But more importantly, you can provide a financial contribution and donate to our campaign, or sign up to become a volunteer. And then last but not least, number 3, when it's time next year, 8.5 months from now, I need your vote. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell others across Georgia that Derrick Jackson is on the ballot, and he is the absolute most qualified to be the chief executive and the commander-in-chief right here in Georgia, and I need their vote.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mr. Jackson. We are wishing you a phenomenal rest of your day, sir.
Thank you so much, Chris, and have a blessed day. Take care.
You as well. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard that loud and clear. That was none other than State Representative Derrick Jackson, currently running for Georgia governor in 2026. If you would like to donate or even support, ladies and gentlemen, that is a website that you can head over to. And even if you may not have things to donate, even just dedicating your time to be able to just kind of go out to those events and support, all that stuff can help. So there's always ways that you can support. Once again, you are tuned into the most informative news station in the land, News and Talk, WAOK, the voice of the community.